Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 183. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture, things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John, and I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Good, good. Your standard show opening is very apropos this week. I'm guessing you're
Oh,
gonna,
okay.
yeah, you're gonna know why very soon.
All right. That's and thanks to that, we have our guest Mike returning.
Going great.
Excellent. Yeah, we'll have a special drink coming up here when we go over drink holidays, but want to give everybody the rundown real quick. Tonight's main focus will be Daredevil, Born Again. It's on Disney Plus right now. We're talking about the latest episodes, all the way up to episode 7. So we covered through, I think, episode 4 last time.
Mhm.
So just have the finale, which is probably airing sometime
Mhm.
tonight. No?
There's 2. I was stunned. It's a
Oh,
9-episode season. Like, laws don't apply
okay.
anymore, man. I don't know what seasons are anymore. They can be anything.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, well, that works out. That's fine then. 2 episodes.
I
Excellent.
know, I know. Yeah, no, I went to go look up, the season finale and just kind of see when it was dropping. And they were like, "Oh yeah, episode 8 drops next week, April." And then or episode 8 drops tonight and now at 8. So, it's going right now. And then yeah, I was surprised saw an April 15 episode 9 season finale. It's just like, "Oh man."
Okay, cool. I
Like I
mean,
said,
it
no
makes
laws,
sense
no laws.
with the way this was like meshed funny and refilmed and all
Right.
that sort of thing. It makes sense that this one to be
True.
a little
Little
circumventing the
oddball.
norm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that after a little bit. Talk about our weeks, and yeah. But let's kick it off with the drinks, the drink holidays. Andrea, what we got going?
Yes. First up, as I alluded to, March 27th, it was International Whiskey Day, however you spell it, E or no E. So our sometimes there's whiskey greeting is very apropos. Also doubly apropos because there's an Irish St. Patrick's Day themed episode in the ones of Daredevil that we're covering tonight. So really, how could I do anything else but bring the whiskey?
Okay.
So
All right.
cheers.
Nice.
But other than that, there are 2 holidays that are intertwined with each other that just happened yesterday and the day before. April 6th is commonly known as New Beer's Eve. And then yesterday, April 7th, it is National Beer Day.
All
So there
right.
you go. Whiskey or
How
beer.
common? How common? Like,
Oh, I am so glad you asked that question.
ooh,
So glad you asked that question. Okay. So this is gonna take a minute, but I'll get there. I have a gift given to me by a coworker for Christmas, and it is a Shakespeare insult calendar. And it's like one of those daily ones, like 365.
Yeah.
You just like rip it off, and there's like a new thing every day. And it's brilliant, and I love it, and it's super nerdy, but it's amazingly awesome. Like Shakespeare, hands down, can just oh get a dig that just hurts you. But on the back of all of those, they have, like things that are like, oh, coloring or puzzles or crosswords or whatever. And sometimes they have jokes. Well, yesterday's was a joke about National Beer Day.
Wow. Okay.
It literally was like, oh my God, I think I have it. Hold on. Yep, I do. So I was
Excellent.
thinking about it. So, pun official holiday. There's no whining allowed on National Beer Day. It's a hopsy holiday.
Mm,
right here,
yeah.
right
That's very
here.
good. Excellent.
So
I have
just
those
saying, it's literally a holiday that's appearing on my Shakespeare insult calendar. So it's well known enough.
yeah, what we're saying is the mail still gets delivered on that day. Like the mailmen don't stay home for it.
Yeah.
But
Maybe they should.
maybe they should. Any excuse, yeah.
Yep.
So okay, very good.
So yeah.
Well, Mike, we know that you have something special that you're drinking this week.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do.
Go off what that is.
I made you a promise last week, and I said I would follow through. And maybe I only followed through like 15 minutes before this started, but we did get the oh no, there we go.
Woo!
The hard Mountain Dew, y'all. It says
Yes.
it's got
All right.
alcohol in it. Maybe that's whiskey. I don't know.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
whiskey. Sometimes there's whiskey.
Yeah.
We got 3 different flavors. We got watermelon, Baja Blast, and regular. And I mean, I haven't done this yet. Maybe for next time, it's only appropriate to mix all 3 of them together like you would at a fast food restaurant,
Oh my god.
right?
Mm,
You have to.
I love
okay.
it. Do it. Do it.
That'll be
That's
for
good
next
idea.
week. For this week, we're down in it.
Oh my god.
Baja Blast.
All right.
Um,
Cheers.
does it taste Baja Blasty?
It's very, very faint Baja Blast. It's not
Okay.
good.
Is it just
Oh
mostly the sharp
no.
tang of alcohol?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then you get a little hint of was that Baja Blast? Like like I've had a
Uh,
Taco Bell, cup,
Sure.
it's filled with Baja Blast, and then I just poured a bunch of alcohol in it because it used to have Baja Blast in it. That's about what it's like.
oh no.
Oh, that feels like it tastes like college.
Yeah, very accurate. Luckily, I have a whole case of this, so
Yeah. You can hand it out to the neighbors. Yeah.
Oh,
I can't wait. All my
oh my
seltzer
god.
drinking.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate the
You should hide
dedication,
it. It's
trying it
from the
for
Easter
us.
Bunny. Hide it along with the eggs.
I love it. Something for the kids,
Uh,
something for the parents.
that's
Yep.
right. That's right.
Mhm.
Rachel gets
Excellent.
to go too this year.
Mhm.
All
Well,
right, John. How about you?
yeah, I sadly so my stomach's been a little weird today, so I have some tequila beside me if I feel like having some.
All right.
Otherwise, I'm going with just a regular Mountain Dew.
All
So,
right.
Nice.
yeah,
All right.
Nice.
I
Get
could
that
probably
spirit in there. I feel it.
Yep.
yeah, I could probably that would probably be better if I just put some tequila in this Mountain Dew right now, based on your description.
I mean, isn't gin and tonic like supposed to make your stomach feel better? Or
Is it?
I
That
might be making that up.
yeah, probably making it up. It's a we'll say it's extra thing of juniper berries. It's good for the
Sure.
Yeah.
digestion.
Hey,
Right.
Mhm.
I one of my favorite things is a gin and ginger ale does make your stomach
Here.
feel better. So
That that was probably what I was thinking of.
I,
I got you. I
I
got
would have
you.
I would have grabbed
Smooth
ginger ale if we
cover.
had any left. Yeah. Okay. Well, very good. Well done on the drinks. Let's get into our weeks. Mike, been watching anything new?
No, outside of Daredevil, not really. Because we have Disney Plus now, my son is perpetually playing Marvel movies, so I'm not upset about
Mm,
that. That's a good thing. There's a long run of good Marvel movies, so that's pretty
Yes.
much what's been on our TV.
okay. All right. Well, sounds good. Andrea, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, nothing honestly new outside of Daredevil either. I've been watching like a mishmash of other things. Like caught some March Madness, caught some surprise, upset games for men's and women's. Yeah, so that was kind of fun. And then Chris started watching Masters coverage this week, which boy am I new to the concept that golf is an interesting sport to watch on the television.
Oh,
Um,
really?
But, I mean, it took me a long time to get into it enough to, like, actually, you know be able to sit down and watch it with him. I do have to say this like pre-Masters coverage is still a little bit on the slower side
That's
for me.
excessive, right? It hasn't begun,
It is.
like,
It's a
it's
lot of lead up and a lot of
like
like psychology of the game, and I'm like, "Hi, no, I can't." I mean, I don't even care when it's like the NFL, and that's a sport that I love.
yeah,
In the lead ups when they're
exactly.
like, "Let's sit down with quarterback Patrick Mahomes for the 17th time," and not to pick on Mahomes or anything, but one of the first names that popped in my head. But you just kind of get to a point where you're like, you just play the game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, I understand though, if you're a nerd out about something, you can't get enough
yes,
of it. So I do
right.
understand. But for sport, even the ones that I do watch,
Hmm.
not that level. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So Chris put that on the TV, and I was a little like briefly like, oh right, Masters. Okay, I'm just gonna like check out until we're actually playing. Thank you. Um,
You golf became this thing where, it like for a while there was a brief moment in Fortnite, professional Fortnite, where it was all these familiar people that you would know, you streamers you'd watch and stuff like that. You'd see them playing all
mhm,
the time, and like they'd be competing and like getting in towards the top and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, I don't know, more kids jumped on board, and then it became names all over the place that don't make any sense. You have no familiarity with, and I felt like was it way with golf too. Like for a while, it was just dominated by Tiger Woods. You had what
mm,
his name is, VJ Singh. And you're just like recognizable names are always in the top, and like all those people seem like they're just gone, poof. And so it's all
mm.
new people now. I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. I had to learn some new names. Like Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, um, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, which was like, oh god. Like, when I see them, they're obviously 2 different people, but when I see their names on the leaderboard, it's like, who are these
Yeah,
guys? Which one's which? I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, I had to learn a whole new, you know, who's who of golf, and even now it's just like it's so rapidly changing. It's hard to keep up. Um,
Mike, do the top racers in the world, like an F1, that does that change a lot, or they kind of stay there and you know the big ones, and or does it fluctuate a lot?
It's very rare to have somebody that lasts past like 35 years old in that sport.
sure.
So there's a fair amount of turnover that happens,
It's like football.
and yeah, exactly. Um, you've got 21 drivers, effectively, technically 20 drivers, but then generally there's a reserve or something that's stepping in. Um, but for the most part, you've got kind of like your top 10 drivers, and those will stay pretty consistent for probably close to a decade.
Mhm,
And the other 10 are shuffled in and out as they underperform or cave under the pressure. And so you'll see the rookies coming up from Formula 2 and Formula 3, and they fill in. And it's sometimes hard to keep track of those names because they just kind of come and go really quickly.
Yep.
sure.
Okay, well, Andrea was enthralled with golf this week. Um,
Yes, I dabbled in the sports world again briefly this week, and then watched some throwback movies, like just stuff was cycling on TV. First, I caught like the first Lord of the Rings, like the Fellowship, as it was starting, and I was like, "Oh, that's some good luck. I got to sit down and pay attention to this." Um,
but was it uninterrupted by commercials?
it was
Okay, all right.
actually no, because
Wow.
it was on
Okay.
HBO, so it was.
Okay, all right.
Um, so yeah, so that was a beautiful thing. Caught Thor. Speaking of Marvel movies, older good ones.
The original one?
The original, yeah, and then Ragnarok came on. They just like skipped over Dark World,
Just
which is
skip
fine.
to
It's fine. Um,
what happened
and
in the middle
then
there.
and then oh my god, what am I thinking of? Batman Forever came on, and I was like,
Oh,
well,
Mm.
that's very apropos this week, and I must watch that. So
Okay, well, that's not nothing. So, yes, Val Kilmer sadly passed away a few days ago, and
Mhm.
I don't know if you saw th- one of the trades put a picture of Michael Keaton's Batman in the headline featuring Michael Keaton
No.
or Val Kilmer passing away. So, yeah, I think it was Deadline. But
Wow.
mhm,
Ouch.
yeah,
It's a
That's
bad
but
look.
that's oof. I mean, it's not like a slap in the face in terms of Michael Keaton's Batman was super bad or anything, but it's just like, damn, man.
no, it's just like do a little
You
bit
can't
of. I
get
mean,
that right?
you can look at him; it's different.
Right.
But
I think
yeah,
honestly it would be probably more of a slap in the face if they put Clooney's Batman up there, but
well,
still.
yeah. The so that's sad news. So everybody was like,
Yeah.
I saw
God,
one thing
by
that
who?
said like man like honors Val Kilmer's death by you know um saying Doc Holliday quotes all day as like usual,
Oh, cool.
kind of thing. Um, do you guys have a favorite Val Kilmer movie?
Yeah, Top Gun.
Yeah.
Okay, the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah. Even though
Okay,
Maverick is great,
it is good,
it is
but it's good
amazing, but
because it's
Top
good
Gun is
because
the best.
yeah, that's why
hmm.
Maverick is good. And
Mhm.
Iceman, without Iceman, that movie is not good.
I mean,
You
having
can't,
that foil there,
Yeah.
that rival is pretty cool.
but it was also how he played him. Like, he
Yeah.
did a great job of making you wanna like him, but also wanna hate him because
Yeah.
he's a total dick, but he's very charming. Like, yeah, he just played
Right.
Yeah,
it well.
I feel like that sums up Val Kilmer a lot of like what people said about him in his life. Like he was charming, but he was kind of a dick because he was very
yeah.
eccentric or like very, committed to his way of doing things and his vision, which could work out beautifully for a movie, but then also make him really hard to work with. So,
Clearly, it's very unique. I mean, I in the middle of his like documentary thing on Amazon that I know you
oh
watched,
yeah,
Andrea.
isn't
So like
yeah,
that, how much footage he captured of his life and
hmm
stuff, kind of crazy.
yeah,
But
I didn't know
Alan
any of
says
that.
"Kiss Kiss Bang Bang," which is
that's
a
good.
great underrated movie.
Yes,
Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer, lots of fun. Good one.
The Doors, that's a good one.
Mhm.
I haven't watched that in a
Andrea,
long time.
is your favorite also Top Gun?
Yes, followed closely by Batman Forever, which is not like
Okay.
I mean, it's not his best quality movie, but I love that movie. It's so 90s and
That
wonderful.
movie is quality. I will
I
defend it
said it's
to
not
my
his
grave.
no, stop. I said it's not his best quality movie because I think Top Gun is more quality, but I love Batman Forever.
Mm, yeah.
What
Batman
was
Forever is my favorite for sure.
it's your favorite, John?
Yeah.
What was the one where he played Doc Holliday? What was the name of that movie?
That's
Doc
Tombstone.
Holliday.
Tombstone.
No, it's
Thank you.
Tombstone.
Is it?
Yeah. Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
Yeah. hmm
Oh, it is.
So
It
it's
is.
interesting because it came out so
My
I
bad.
remember it coming out so close to Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
both these movies, like one like a really
Right.
long, more serious tone in Wyatt Earp, and then a little more fun in Tombstone. It's such a great, fun, like different portrayal of Doc Holliday. So
Oh.
cool.
There's like multiple tombstones. That's why I was confused.
I mean, there's
Oh,
only
really?
Interesting.
one though. There's really only one
Oh, and there is a
that
Doc
matters.
Holliday.
Have you
Interesting.
guys seen The Ghost in the Darkness?
Yes.
No,
Oh my god. Oh my god.
no.
John,
Yeah.
screw it. Top Gun is dethroned for The Ghost in the Darkness. Yes, I remember that, and I watched it as a kid, and I was in love, so much so, I kid you not, I can't believe I forgot about that. Like,
Michael
2 years ago,
Douglas.
I went on a rant, like, a mad search to find a way to watch The Ghost in the Darkness. It was when, that Idris Elba movie came out about the lion that was being a manhunter. I think it's
Okay, that
in
sounds
Oh, yeah,
familiar.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay, 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 okay.
and I saw the previews for that, and I was like, "This movie's been made." And
You can watch it for free on Pluto. It's literally like
yes,
starting on my phone right now.
yes, it's so good, and it's a mythology though that is based on real events, which is really really cool.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay. Interesting.
So there were two lions, two young male lions that they discovered they had some later on they discovered they had some issue with their teeth or something, which was keeping them from hunting with the rest of the pride and hunting their regular prey. And because of
Okay.
that, they were effectively stalking the builders of the railroad and killed like 100 people
Oh, okay.
before they got shot. So this is that movie.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
I love it.
Right.
No
I
one talks
mean,
about it, but I love it.
I'm gonna watch it
Okay.
so I can talk about it next time because I'm now
Oh, nice.
intrigued at what could. I mean, I'm intrigued at what could dethrone Top Gun. Like,
It's a
I'll rewatch
totally
it. I'll
different vibe.
totally rewatch it. Yeah,
okay, all right,
let's rewatch it. That's that's retro rewind in honor of Val
okay,
Yes,
Kilmer coming up
okay.
next.
I'm in.
So,
We can do that.
yeah.
We can do
All
that.
right. Brennan is in chat. Thank you for jumping in, Brennan. What is your favorite Val Kilmer movie? Yeah, there's a lot of good ones. Yeah, always defend Batman Forever. Love Ghost in the Darkness.
I mean,
Um,
there were honestly multiple media outlets that were like, "Man, Batman Forever got a raw deal." It's not like probably the top Batman ever, like critically acclaimed or whatnot, but they were like, "Man, if you want a quintessential, hallmark of the '90s, but still like really great and great casting, like this is it. Like this is your
See, the thing
movie."
is, when Batman Forever came out, it did really well. Like
Mhm.
box office wise, it did well.
Mhm.
Warner Brothers wanted a movie that what the Penguin was scaring kids.
Yep.
He was bleeding black stuff from oozing it from his mouth. People were getting
Yep.
electrocuted and turning into skeleton. Like it's gruesome, it's
Too much.
scary.
Yep.
I love it, but they wanted something that's like the kids need to be able to see this. And there's plenty of like creepy-ish things enough in Batman Forever, but we add some of the silliness in the camp. And
Yep.
is the Riddler and Two Face what we would expect from, comic books of the 90s and 80s? No. But it is what we would have seen on
Right.
television in Batman and in comic books earlier generations. And it kind of strikes a fun balance between a Tim Burton Gotham and
Mhm.
a Joel Schumacher Gotham.
Mhm.
Like the problem with Batman and Robin is it goes full Joel Schumacher. Like it goes all the way. It just goes
Yeah.
too far.
Yep.
But Batman Forever is kind of a fun little balance there that I really dig. It
Mhm.
adds a different flair from Tim Burton's. It livens it up a little bit. It's good, and I think there's a renewed appreciation in the last few years
Yep.
over it, anyways. Especially as we've gotten Batmans that are more and more and more kind of gloomy or
Mhm.
whatever. So
Well, and one of the articles raised an interesting point about, you know, this Batman as like a father figure and like middle aged. And I was just like, what? But then I started thinking about it and
middle
we
aged.
do, but because I mean he seems older because he sort of like faux adopts, takes under his wing, Robin. So he's like his
Yeah.
it's and the like this particular writer saw him more as like a father figure and I was like I saw him more as like a big brother. Like I didn't really get, he's like middle aged or anything. Even though he's
No.
clearly like older than Robin, even though Chris O'Donnell felt older than the age he was trying to play.
Yeah.
Um
Well, of course.
so there's convoluted, kind of portrayals of age there. But it was kind of an interesting thought for me because we are getting so many Batmans that are like, here's the origin stories. We're getting a lot of young Batmans. Like Christian
Yeah.
Bale was, again, supposed to be young. He didn't quite look as young as he felt, but or he was supposed to be. But then now Robert Pattinson is like, I can't get him out of my head as like barely out of teenage years.
But
So
it's not true at all. Like he
I
is,
know, I know, but he
yeah,
seems the youngest yet, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's like Val
he's
Kilmer's
tall.
age when he played
But
Batman.
he
I know
seems
he
the
seems young.
youngest yet.
Yes, yes. There's
He's
a
small.
lack of masculinity that sort of like just makes him feel younger.
Whereas
You know,
like Kilmer had
but
a gravitas that like when the writer said, I saw him as a father figure, I was like, "Oh, I see how you got there," even though again, I saw him more as like a big brother. But
sure,
he had a weightiness to him that I could see that.
yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. Well, we got to talk about Batman Forever someday. We'll make that
Yes, yes.
happen. So, yes, but
Could be a
sadly,
Val Kilmer retro rewind double feature.
yeah. Well, it's the anniversary year for Batman Forever this year. It's
Oh,
30 years, I think. 20 30 years, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
okay.
And
Yeah.
I had watched a while ago the first half of it and it got interrupted and whatever. And so I'm like, I'm not going to just watch the next half. I got to start over. So yeah, we'll get there.
Well, here you go. Excuse to rewatch on a silver platter.
Uh huh. Yep. So, so long, Val Kilmer. Um, I talk about the few things I watched this week yet.
Sure.
Um, the Guy Ritchie is on a hot streak. Guy Ritchie, I haven't seen hit much for his movies recently, but between The Gentleman that was on Netflix like last
Yeah.
year, and now Mobland that's on Paramount Plus right now, it's off to a good start. So for
Mhm.
those that don't know Mobland, Guy Ritchie production, it's his deal, and it's starring Pierce Brosnan and Tom Hardy and Helen Mirren. So and Paddington Constantine, how you say his name, from House of the Dragon, the king. from House of
Oh,
the Dragon.
Patty Considine?
Yeah, yes, correct, him. So all these people are in
Well, now
this,
I'm in.
and it. There's only 2 episodes available. The second one just dropped. It's a new one every Sunday, and it's good. I mean, it's very in the Guy Ritchie vein, but like his style is evolved over time, and
Mhm.
but it's about mob stuff, and Tom Hardy's doing his thing. It's fun to see Pierce Brosnan in this kind of role. So
Where are
yeah,
you watching this?
Paramount Plus.
Okay. All
So
right. I
fan.
won't download that one. I'm only going to download one thing that I don't believe in at a time, and that's Disney Plus for you guys. Paramount Plus lost me with that Halo crap, that abomination, that pilot.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like, no,
It's
Yeah.
fair. It's
not
fair.
rewarding
It's
me.
fair.
I I don't know that that's Paramount's fault. I would blame Microsoft for that, but where whoever, I guess.
I'll blame whoever I have to. I mean, Paramount put it out there.
Yeah.
Without
I
Paramount
know.
putting it
I
in
was
the
gonna say
world, I wouldn't have had to see it.
if there's a
Mhm.
world where Disney gets blamed for, you know, some of the Marvel slash Star Wars content that comes out, I think we kind of
Yeah,
have
but
to
no, Disney's a
equally.
creative parent company as well as the streaming platform.
Do you know that
Paramount, I'm
Paramount isn't? Because Paramount
Paramount
Plus
is
is their streaming name, but Paramount
right.
is.
I just don't know if, and I don't know. I'm just saying, like Microsoft hired people. They own the IP. Disney owns the IP they put on their thing, except for partial ownership for like Hulu things. But Microsoft rented out this property, whatever, for someone to make, and
Yep.
they chose whoever and greenlit and whatever. So the buck stops with them, in my book.
Paramount is a producer of the Halo series.
Yeah, so I suppose they fund it. They put
Bastards.
make things happen.
Mhm.
Yep. Well, I'll just hate them both. That's fine.
That's
Please.
fine too. And then thanks to Daredevil getting me back on the Disney, the same as Mike here.
Mhm.
Marvel stuff hasn't been on in my house, but Star Wars stuff has been. So I've seen since the last
Mm.
podcast, Tales of the Jedi, episodes 1 through 6. So that's a whole series. It's a series of shorts. It's animated. Um, and that came out a
Didn't
year or two ago, something like that.
Yeah, didn't we watch that?
No, we watched Star Wars Visions season 1 back when that
That's
came
it.
out.
That's it.
I've since seen the first episode of Visions season 2, which
Okay.
was
How was
good.
that?
It was good. It was fun.
Okay.
Um, I think you like that one. It's really cool. It's a really cool look to that one.
Okay.
And then I have seen
Mm.
Ahsoka episodes 1 through 6.
Um,
So,
Well,
interesting.
that's a connection to Daredevil there.
Rosario
yeah, with
Dawson.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So I watched back in the early days of the Disney purchase of Lucasfilm Star Wars
Mhm.
Rebels, the kids cartoon on
Mm.
whatever, and
Yep.
like recognizing it's a kids cartoon, I had my issues with it, but it was fun. And I liked a lot of the characters that they introduced in that. Some of the
Mhm.
lore additions were not great, but I liked Kanan, I liked the crew, the ghosts, all the stuff.
Mhm.
This is basically Rebels season 2. So whereas Andor I can recommend to everyone, I can't necessarily with Ahsoka because at least for me, I know a lot of my enjoyment is tied to the fact that I am familiar with Rebels. And if you don't have that familiarity, I just don't know how you'd receive it.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm having fun with it. I think that I always thought Rosario Dawson did a good job in Mando being Ahsoka Tano, so that's good. They got Mary Elizabeth Winstead to be Hera, General Hera. Yep. And yeah, it's the casting is pretty good. It's been fun. I have a whole list of notes I've taken of like issues I do have, but there's positives too. So maybe I'll do a spoilery cast of that sometime.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
read those or listen to you talk through them because I'm curious. I watched it quite a while ago before when you weren't interested.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. How'd you come away feeling about it then?
Season 1 I liked. Um,
There was only season
and
1 so far.
there is only okay. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to make sure I'm not conflating it. I liked her. I like how they tried to do her interaction with. Are we spoiling it? Uh, sure. With Anakin, right? And that
Okay.
split. Um, and I think it's kind of cool how they brought that in, and um, I didn't really care for. Can't remember the girl's name now. She's the
Sabine
Mandalorian.
Wren.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Savine Wren. I didn't like that, but I will say that if you hadn't watched Rebels, you're probably more likely to be okay with that, right? So
Hmm.
on the flip
Probably.
side,
Yes.
right? But if a Mandalorian taking up a Jedi mantle has its own issues, right? Then accepting it and like taking on the training and moving so quickly and so suddenly, it's hard to suspend the disbelief for me with
Yeah.
that because that's so ingrained in the lore, right? This is not like everybody has it, right? No, it's
Yeah.
not an everybody has it and you can just bring up this latent aspect. It's you have it or you don't. And then you have it in, certain values for different people, right? Different levels, I guess. And they've already said that she had none of it, right? And she was a really cool character in Rebels by herself. She didn't need to be training with a Jedi. Ahsoka doesn't even need a Padawan, right? But that's what they seemed like they were trying to do. Like she has become so much more intelligent, right, and calm and calculated from her experience, which is the polar opposite of what Ahsoka always was, right? So
Right.
they're trying to show that. And then I thought maybe they're like, well, we need to give her a Padawan so that she can, show her wiseness and um, separate. Because the Padawan, Savine is basically acting like Ahsoka used to act for Anakin. I mean, it's
Right.
almost a one for one. So we'll get off the soapbox.
Yeah. No, yeah, we'll have to talk about it more in depth sometime. But I have 2 episodes left. I am agreeing with your points so far. Sabine was a fun character in Rebels and is much less fun in this. I did look up some stuff. It is from the mouth of George Lucas. Anyone can use the Force. So the Force is in on everything, surrounds us by its penetrates, all that sort of thing. And so he likens it to studying martial arts. Now, the Jedi sought after Force sensitive people. Why would you train up people, right? Why would you go across the galaxy and try to pick just any kid? You'd pick the ones that were most adept, had the greatest possibility and potential
Natural
to be
talent.
Jedi, right? Natural talent. And
Okay.
so that's where they would test midichlorians, all sort of thing, whatever. You'd find where you are on that scale. But that doesn't mean that someone without that that doesn't mean that someone that takes the intense training and dedication can't commune with the Force. They're just not going to have the same potential that someone else that the Jedi are typically looking for are. So it still doesn't make sense, because why are you spending your time doing this for her? Like, what was the impetus for this? She's already a badass Mandalorian kind of person. She had to do some sword training in
Mhm.
Rebels so she could handle the dark saber. That made sense. But then past that, why you're like, you need to tap into the fort. I don't understand that at all. Especially when Hera's son Jason is there. He's the
Right.
one you should be freaking training.
Right.
Like, yeah. So I don't know. So far, the show is how reasonable I am. Like, this show has issues, but I'm still enjoying it. It's not destroying anything. It's just like, I don't agree with that choice. It's like, I wish it could go a different way than this. But yeah.
Okay.
So okay. Sorry, I didn't get too far into that, but um yeah, okay. Speaking of Rosario Dawson, there's a
You're
series
welcome.
that we're going to talk about tonight that used to have Rosario Dawson in it.
And May again.
Daredevil. Maybe, yeah. The night nurse, yeah, maybe. So, Daredevil, Born Again, episodes 5 through 7. We, I don't know. I had my thoughts before, whereas like this is a little, it was kind of up and down on how I was feeling about Daredevil. Andrea, would you say it was kind of the same for you, like mixed bag a little bit previously?
Episodes 1 through 4.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of that had to do with its, fairly rocky start and the fairly noticeable meshing of before revamped storyline and revamped storyline.
yeah.
And I feel like these episodes found their footing a little bit more for sure.
Okay, so improvement. How about you, Mike? Do you feel there's an improvement here?
I think there was right up until 5. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 5 was the downturn for you then, or you just think 5 was the standout, not as good?
Yeah, is,
I
is
don't
five good or
understand why
bad?
it existed.
Because it was
Okay,
I
fun.
didn't like it.
I'll tell you why
I,
5 existed.
I don't
I
like
wrote
that.
in my notes, 5
That's
Oh, I know.
exists.
all time. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I don't care.
I don't think that that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to either now. I think it was
I
the
don't either,
plan
which makes
before.
even less necessary. And it was such a tempo shift. It's like, all right. So
'Cause I
yes.
was glad of the tempo shift because I was having a little bit of trouble in 1 through 4, and then
Mm, okay.
episode 5 I thought was like a fun little break, and I'd also been away from Daredevil, like I hadn't watched it, since we'd spoken last, and then like
Gotcha.
3 days ago started this series of episodes and was just sort of like, hey, I can start this way with a little party, a little good old fashioned bank heist.
I agree. I agree with you, Andrea. It was the same way. I watched them all sort of back to back recently then, and um, it was a it was a nice sort of breather. Like if I was really on edge, like I must
Mhm.
know what's happening next, and then we had this break. I guess maybe then I would be upset. But I don't know. It was just good to see. If it was boring, I wouldn't have liked it. But I didn't think it was boring. I thought it was fun.
Mhm. Like all my notes are like I don't know, just about fun things, like fun, but not like like cute things, like not kid friendly things. But I was like, Matt's a multitasker. He's choking the guy and he's saving the gun from clattering on the stairs. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I was having fun with it. I was enjoying that kind of stuff. Or like this whole exchange about your Irishness with the guy, and he's like, you're a regular Dickensian orphan. And I was just like, like, I don't know. Something about the way they were talking to each other was just striking me.
Yeah, and then were they trying to steal Infinity Stone or what was that?
I have no idea, but I did not guess that like influencer chick was in on it at all.
No.
So that was like
Right.
a fun moment because it's a very fairly standard bank heist episode, and then I was like,
Mhm.
oh hey, um, and then yeah, I didn't get why they were so emphasizing like his bowl of candy, and then he puts
Yeah.
a diamond in there. It's just like so yeah,
I
I I wrote at the end that was a really fun episode. I just had a good time.
You see, when I was watching it, I'm like, "Oh, this." I see. I thought it'd be the other way around. When you told us, Mike, that there's a wasted episode. I'm
Yeah.
like, I thought that would be episode 6, and so, but then I was watching 5. I'm like, "Oh, it must be
Sure.
this one." Well, good thing I'm enjoying it then, because like,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a
Yes.
positive. It's nice that you liked the beach episode. I'm happy for you.
yes,
It
yes,
made
I
me
normally do.
wanna
I
turn it
normally
off.
do like the beach episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
I normally don't. I normally skip past that because listen, there's PTSD, right? I was used to running home to watch Dragon Ball Z after school
Yes,
and
yes,
wait to see
yes.
what happens in the fight, and then freaking, we're playing baseball, and
Sure.
I'm like, what the shit is this?
Sure.
Okay.
That's how I was feeling. I was
Yes.
excited about Muse, and then they gave me Bank Heist,
Sure.
and hey, Kamala Khan exists in this, and I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. I hate all of that crap. Everybody hates that crap because your ratings reflect it, and nobody watches it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah. I was very okay not like I mean, I know we've had some dotted, you know, call outs to other
Mhm.
superheroes, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, we've had White Tiger and we've had Punisher, and
Right.
I was glad we just like alluded. You know what I mean? I didn't need another person. There are plenty of other people to make a cameo here, other than somebody new. But yeah, no, I did. I just I just had fun with the episode. Plus the fight at the end between him and
Yeah, that
Devlin
was
and
fun.
that leg break. Oh,
Yes.
visceral, visceral. And I was into it because I was like, yeah, Matt needs to get back into some practice here because he's clearly ramping up for a fight with Muse, and I can't have him just like get into a fight. I need him to like be getting back into his form. So
Yeah.
To be honest
because
with
this
Yeah.
show does some unbelievable stuff, and I need something to be believable. And this I made it fit in my brain.
I felt like this was like remnant of this reshoot type of thing. Where
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that it wasn't fun. Okay, there was fun aspects of it. There was cool parts. Liked him picking the lock into the giant vault, and the guy and Kamala's dad just keeps talking. Kamala. Anyway, he
hmm
just keeps talking. He's like, I can't do it if you're going to keep doing talking like that.
hmm
There's aspects that I like about it, but it was the timing for me
sure.
um, that threw me in.
Yeah, it would have
because
been
it was
better placed before.
right. I think so. I don't know. I
No, I
still
don't.
stand
I don't
by.
disagree. You still stand by it's a waste of time.
I do.
Yeah,
Nothing happened. Like there's nothing from that episode that carries over into the others to me.
correct.
So
There is.
Other than the conversation with his girlfriend, like, oh,
No,
you're
I mean, yes, obviously conversation with his girlfriend, which we can get to because I had like issues there. But obviously this was a carryover because like they were doing this for Luca, who owes Victor money.
oh
oh
So
yeah,
I mean,
okay,
it was a tenuous
okay,
connection. So
okay,
it wasn't
okay,
like nowhere.
sure,
okay. Yeah. All
But
right.
yes, it wasn't like, boy, this is like a big obvious, carry the plot from A to B.
Right.
mhm.
If we had 20
I
episode seasons, I might be okay with that.
Sure.
right, yeah. No, I hope people are giving the show a shot because I do think the next season is going to be more coherent.
Yes.
Just because it's like they've decided a path and they're on that
Yes.
path now. So
Yeah,
Brendan is back in the chat. Welcome.
I feel like this episode for me served a purpose of like ramping up to action in 6 and 7. Do you know what I mean? Like there was a lot more
Mhm.
like fighting again, a lot more like I need to step in, a lot, just
Yeah, it's
just
another point of
ramping
like
up
F
the
it. I'm
energy.
gonna kind of
Yeah.
do
And clearly, like you said, there's going to be some carryover in terms of like hiding his activities from his girlfriend, like, you know what I mean?
right.
Like falling back into his patterns of like, I need to step in and save these people and I need to be the protector. So there was very soft, groundwork being laid here. But again, I think my brain just like took an enjoyable episode and was sort of like, here's what I can
Mhm.
do with it to make it, you know, fit.
Yep. My one other note, and it's something that they did well in at least moments in the original series, is like you have the big hallway fight everybody talks about, and the guys that he's beating start getting back up. And so that
Mm,
was my one comment. It's like, if you don't kill that guy, he's getting back up. Like he's only out for so long. Like might be 10 seconds, might be a couple minutes. That's it.
mm.
He's back awake. So I guess we'll just pretend that he knew he was like outmatched and right outside the bank vault. He just pretended to be asleep yet. So but everything does that. It's just something I appreciated about it before that they didn't do that as much.
Mhm.
Um, and they still need to get people's powers. They need to figure out where they want Matt's powers to be a little bit better. I do want them to come down to that because it's like he's fighting this average Joe bank robber guy, and he shouldn't have any trouble with that.
Mm.
If he can go toe to toe with She Hulk or whatever superpowered someone or another Iron Fist,
Yeah.
it should be able to handle that without any issue. And so
But
they just
again,
kind of like, we're gonna make every fight sort of fun and challenging, regardless of the opponent. You know,
but I mean, they're doing like the very not verbal version of like ramping him back up. 'Cause he's not been Daredevil for a while. He's got to like get back into it.
it doesn't
Like
go away that
he,
fast. Like
well, but I mean, we don't know how much time there's been since
he's
he's
trained
had
enough.
like a
It's
fight last.
reaction. It's instinct.
Yeah. I
Someone
I
throws
feel
a
like
punch
this
at
was
Mike, he's gonna slip it like that. It's just instinct.
Yep.
I feel like season 3 did this so much better in terms of like very openly calling out, I've lost it and I need to train to get it back. And here it's just like, we're going to
Sure.
throw him some fights and like ease him back
'Cause he had an
into.
actual injury. That made sense. That to me made sense
Right.
in season 3. Like who's
Right. This
losing
is
his
just being like
powers because
rusty. This is just
yeah,
being rusty.
yeah. No excuse. No excuse. Um Okay,
You're so
moving on to
harsh and
like
so lenient at the same time.
yeah, yeah. That's yes. Episode 6. So 6 and 7 we move into then now we're back to Muse. We're back to
Mhm.
Muse. And yeah, that was what was teased. So we've got murders around the city. We've learned there's a serial killer. Mayor Fisk is trying to do something about it. Meanwhile, Fisk is being, like, hey, he's dealing with his past life and past acquaintances yet. Like, how am I going to make this happen without just killing them? And lots of questions there. So, Mike, did you like 6 and 7 better then? We got to Muse.
I didn't say that.
No,
um, without being overly harsh, I liked overall elements of them,
Mhm.
and I hope I like where it's going. I'm not sure. I'm very hesitant right now. I think I was just hoping for more with Muse. I was hoping that he wasn't
Mhm.
really going to just be a villain of the week kind of thing. I was a
agreed.
little bummed about that. Felt like there's enough
Mhm.
build up to it that it could have been more. Um,
Mhm.
and I think it's a cool character, and we could have gone like Criminal Minds,
Mhm.
sort of vibe and feel with the show, which would have been unique for a Marvel show. And
Mhm.
I was kind of digging that. You have
Mhm.
your little political, intrigue side of things with Fisk, and then the little Criminal Minds, like who is this strange mass murderer? And I liked that, but it
Mhm.
kind of just felt like it was done really fast. So that bummed me out.
Yeah. They were a good 2-episode arc to watch together, but yes, I agree. I was a little bit surprised. I was, to get straight into it, I was surprised when, there was the big fight and Daredevil, threw yeah, like
Baton?
through
The
right? I
grappling
don't
hook?
even know what to
Yeah.
call it. But it was like it like popped through his shoulder, and I was like, "Whoa,
Mhm.
dang!" And then I just immediately turned around to an even bigger "Whoa!" that Heather shot him. I was like, We're so done. Oh my god!" Like I didn't even, you know, get to come to terms with the fact that like Matt could have killed him right there. Which is a big no no of Daredevil, and was already shocking to me when he just like threw Bullseye off a building, and now he's maybe his first big villain back, almost killing him, but no, Heather kills him. So it was a lot to process in that like 2-minute span.
I
And their
you
first
know
fight was
Go ahead.
Sorry.
their first fight was cooler than their second fight, to be honest. Short of that shock value, I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I
Yeah,
feel like honestly, I expected it to be cooler after the whole like Taekwondo reveal.
Yeah.
And I was sort of let down because I was like, "Oh, now I get why like that fight was so cool and he had the moves because he is just like this like random skinny little kid that I was a bit confused as to why that fight was so cool." And then I got the explanation, so I expected something next level and I
Mhm.
didn't quite get it other than like you said, um when that burst through his shoulder, I was just a little bit floored.
I was waiting for the 360 axe kicks, Taekwondo
Mhm.
specialist. Where are they
Did
at?
you did you see he did start to do some of the twists? And I
Yeah,
was
Mhm.
and
curious about this because, he
Yeah.
practiced, but he started to do some of the spins and then it
Yep.
just get countered right away. And every time it would happen, I'd kind of giggle like, it's not
Yeah.
real.
uh, yeah, um, yeah. I could rewatch those fights. I do. I agree that this villain felt rushed. It felt like I say, villain of the week, or I just don't know where he fit into the plan initially or what, because it feels like this could have been a season long
Mhm.
build up and issue and whatever. Like all of a sudden we find out that the city's therapist is his therapist too.
Right.
Like
Well,
why
that
did we
wasn't
not have those
sudden.
sessions?
That
Went to a
wasn't
book
sudden
signing.
because yeah, he went to her book signing and was like, "Take me on," and she was like, "Cool, yeah."
Yeah, but we don't see any sessions then.
Yeah, because
Like
we're
I had
all focused
completely
on
forgotten
Fisk
about.
sessions.
Yeah, right, right. Which shouldn't even be which I would not even have a be a thing. Like I would have had the story go that way to begin with, and these sessions would have been more interesting. And her figuring, like starting. How could she not start figuring out? I mean, maybe they only had a couple. I don't know, but how could it
Yeah.
sound like they really formed a relationship? He really was like, how could she not start understanding? Like he has no empathy. This guy's crazy. Like you start. She's a bad therapist, I guess. Like it.
Well, she's not supposed
There
to, like, you've got patient client privilege, right? You're not
yeah.
supposed to, I don't know, write him off,
Mhm.
because he's
No,
nuts.
no, you don't
Well,
write him off, but I might start recognizing he's a danger. Like he needs some more help. He's going to need some medication. He needs a guardian, someone to watch, whatever. Like other steps, other things.
but then if they're gonna do that, aren't they falling into the trap of this is Bullseye
I know,
and his
right, but
background?
that's not my fault that they put this guy in here because
I
I agree.
know,
It's
but like they're damned if they do and damned if they
yeah.
don't. Like
Have you
if we watch that, it's like Bullseye's backstory. If we don't watch it, now it's like, well, where was their relationship and why
Then
is
they should
she
have
his
just not
muse?
had her in there at all with her relationship because having him again,
Yes.
having a relationship with
Yes.
her, Matt's girlfriend again, the other,
I
I
agree.
just don't have that.
Yes. Yes. I agree. I think it should have
I'm,
been maybe it was BB. I don't know. That would have been interesting.
That
That
would've
could
been
have been
cool.
like his muse and you know, she's trying to
Mhm.
go catch him and he's like, ha ha ha, like I'm
yeah.
right here. I don't know how
Hmm.
they meet and why they're friends or whatever, but that would have been, I think, better.
Well, and
Yep.
then you get Fisk's right-hand man maybe trying to protect BB, right? And you make this
Mhm.
more of a personal issue for Fisk because Fisk
Right.
likes that kid. And so that kid's, friend is, maybe Fisk tries to help him out. And then you've got Daredevil coming in. Like, why else does Fisk really want Muse dead other than, to show that he's
Political
protecting the city?
propaganda. Yeah.
Right. You make it personal with BB. That's better. Um, that would have been cooler. And maybe don't kill Muse because it turns out he's actually pretty freaking cool if you read up on him. And now instead, he's just a dead dude who knew Taekwondo. Like, that's
Right.
not at all what Marvel, that's not the character that Marvel created. And this was a character specifically for Daredevil to thwart Daredevil. Like, it is supposed to be a
Mhm.
counterpart to him. He's supposed to, Daredevil, this is just from the wiki, right? But Daredevil
Sure.
says, like, trying to read or trying to listen to Muse is like looking into a void. Like, he has superhuman abilities. He's not just a 16-year-old kid who's really good at Taekwondo. There's
Mhm.
superhuman capabilities there. Plus,
Mhm.
his the art is really cool. They don't really go too
Mhm.
deep into that other than, hey, he
That's true.
siphons blood. He does way more than that.
Which was creepy. I
Super.
will not yeah. I again did not see that twist coming when the garbage man was coming in and I was like, "Oh, this is like cute little bumbling garbage man." And I was like, "Oh my god, he's painting
Yep.
in blood. Creepy." Um yeah. Yeah, I am there's one recurring thing that I am disappointed about with this season is the rushed nature of our, others like Punisher, like White Tiger, and now Muse. It's very quick. Every storyline is very quick. Um, and I mean, obviously, like Kingpin's always going to be our main villain. Like it's very clear. Like he's always going to be like the long play villain in this particular, telling of Daredevil. But I think you could have Muse longer there too.
Absolutely.
Like
Yep.
even if he isn't going to be your arch nemesis, if Kingpin's going to be your arch nemesis, great, that's fine. But I would have wished for Muse to stick around longer as well.
Yes.
They
Yeah, I don't
have
know.
this. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think they were going to what I understand. It sounded like they were going to go more of a um, you know, murder of the week kind of thing, CSI, Law and Order type of show,
Mm,
and do they reverse course? And so that's why we're stuck feeling like we got these rush storylines.
sure.
And they're wasting characters. They're wasting this is official MCU. They brought the other stuff in. You're wasting potentially cool characters.
Mhm,
You know, I don't know of a ton of amazing Daredevil villains.
mhm,
Um, I'm sure there's I'm sure there is a number of them out there, but Kingpin was originally created for Spider-Man, I think, and then they brought him in and just became known for being in Daredevil. But still, like,
sure.
yeah, having Muse he's got a cool look. Um, he's
Agreed.
it's I like having it fits perfectly with a darker tone show, having this
Mhm,
to killer. And we just really could have had it would have been nice to have the whole season that builds up to him. And
Yeah,
mhm,
and then Kingpin can take a back seat. We have him, he is mayor. We know that's happening, but at the time being, like, we have his threat of, like, don't be a vigilante again because I'm not tolerating vigilantism. And then we could focus on him less and we can get back to
mhm,
him in the next season or whatever. You know,
mhm,
we could have
well, that's
given Kingpin a break because we really wrapped up Kingpin in season 3. Like, he
mhm.
can have a break.
you don't even need to give them a break. They have the underpinnings. Like it's all here. They just need to let it breathe longer, right? The
Exactly.
the scene of the first fight with Muse, where Daredevil's fighting Muse, and simultaneously Kingpin is fighting Alex or
Adam,
whatever. Adam, thank you. In the
that was
dungeon.
baller.
That was cool.
It was so cool. And
It
like,
was.
Kingpin throws him against the ceiling.
yeah.
Alright, just a minor picky point, I would still be dead. He,
Oh
like,
yeah.
got back up, and he was thrown by Kingpin into a stone wall head first.
Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
not convincing me that man is dead.
Yeah. It should definitely be dead. But
But other than that, those fights were so cool to watch, like, the back and forth. That
oh cool.
well done.
You
Props
got
up there.
Kingpin, who is ready and willing to kill, right? But he's kind of tried to push back on that a little bit, and instead he's going back to his old ways. The old rage Kingpin is coming out. You got
Right?
Daredevil, right, who's doing the
Giving
same
into
thing.
his dark nature, yep,
Exactly. Great
yep,
parallel. Love the way they did it. And so then you just carry that theme through the rest of the show with
longer.
Muse evading both of them. Right. Daredevil is trying to take him down as the vigilante. Kingpin is trying to take him down legit, right? In a legit way.
Yep.
So you have the opposition without Kingpin being the main primary villain and having to
Mhm,
retread that. And you
mhm,
develop him as the politician. Like it's all there. So why'd you kill the guy?
right. Yeah, I was yeah. To address, something I said earlier, I was okay with White Tiger and the shock value of his, like, brief appearance, his, like, in your kind of, like, murder mystery of the week, because that was genuinely shocking to me. And then with this, I felt rush. This didn't feel as, like, I don't know, shocking or purposeful. It didn't feel either. It just felt like caught in the middle where I was just like, "Oh," like unfinished.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I agree. Like, just story wise, the White Tiger stuff works. I'm just saying for them, they've now lost a character that they could be working with. Like,
Mhm.
it's like Witcher. Oh, let's just kill a guy that sticks around because it's shocking and you won't expect it. Eskel, it's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, pick anyone else, do something else, make up a character. Don't take
Right.
this character that's beloved in there and whatever, just so you can shock a few people. Just gonna make,
That
you know,
that to me is foggy.
Okay, yes, yes, but that again,
I'm sorry.
yes,
White Tiger's too new for me to be like a beloved character. So, like, to me,
right,
that's Foggy.
yeah. Well,
Good point.
we're still talking about if he's coming back or something, so we'll see.
Very true.
No,
Very true.
Mike says no.
That's flashbacks. It's got to be flashbacks. It's nothing else. I can't imagine that they'd be like, oh fuck, he did it on purpose. Like, yeah, I'm sure he bled out in the street with Karen,
Sure.
having a panic attack over top of him
Sure.
as a gag or as a
Sure.
plan.
You never know. You
Daredevil
never
get his
know.
heart
But
stopped.
yes, I
Did
mean,
Foggy learn how to stop his heart? Been training with ninjas. What's going on?
Electra came back and was like, "What's up? I got you."
So one thing I want to talk about because i- w- obviously the show's talking about vigilantism and how right or just that is or whatever, and the I'm dead set against it, but there's something that is an added element for Daredevil and some other superheroes in particular is that he is aware of crime. It's like if you are a whoever citizen and you witness crime taking place, you can he
Mhm.
is not it is not wrong for you to interject. Like you
Right.
can, and some places would sometimes if you witness a beating and you don't interject, then you are held to some in court for not
Mm.
doing anything, for letting someone get their brains bashed in. Daredevil can sense the city many blocks around him. He can hear the screams. He can hear someone getting raped or pulled into an alley or all kinds of stuff, car accidents, all this sort of thing. Now, he's learned over the years, I would assume, to focus and block out a lot of things. But if he just opens that up, has an awareness of all kinds of crime. So it
Mhm.
kind of changes. Does it change? I guess his responsibility in some of these things. Because if you look, obviously, in this particular situation with White Tiger's niece, she's going out searching for this follow up on her uncle's thing, and he knows that what she's doing and is in danger, so he goes to find her, and she's in immediate danger and saves her. So you can want to call that vigilantism, but that's the going out looking for a friend and they're in trouble, you save them. It's
Mhm.
so that's an immediate awareness. Well, if you have this awareness kind of all the time, isn't that sort of the same kind of thing? You're aware that your neighbors is in trouble, and it's for you to not do anything about it. The bank, he was aware the bank was being robbed. So it's like, well, if
Mhm.
he has the ability to do something of it with it, like he can do that versus the normal person's going to have no idea. He's wasn't even going and looking for a crime. He was aware that it was happening.
I'm not following what you're asking.
Does he have a responsibility to act as a vigilante? Is it okay for him to be a vigilante? And then, John, I'm guessing, are you asking to expand that? Is vigilantism okay?
Yeah, it's like it if you in my opinion, vigilantism you can't have because how can you it evades the law. You got to
Mhm.
have the law.
Mhm.
But if you stumble upon crime, that's not a vigilante. If you stumble upon crime and you stop it, that is helping your fellow man. That is happens every day. People come in to
Yeah, but he's
rob a
never.
shop, and then
He's.
you're armed and you take them out, and now you've
Yeah.
saved the shop owner and whatever. You're not a vigilante. You aren't patrolling the streets looking for bad guys. That's happens all the time, and it's perfectly legal. Um, so is Daredevil kind of automatically in that situation because of his expanded awareness?
But he. I mean, he does go out and look for.
Right, but in the
Not this
situations where he's
Daredevil.
not,
Not
but
this Daredevil, because he's pretending he's not doing that. You
right,
know.
right. I'm just saying, like, but if Matt decides I'm not going to be a vigilante, I'm not going to be, but he is aware of crime happening around him
I'm guessing
often.
like he. I'm guessing he's not. I'm guessing he's not. I'm guessing he's like, I'm not going to be Daredevil, so I'm gonna like do the thing I do where I block stuff out. Even though like we see him and when it's very obviously happening like a foot in front of his face, like yes, he
But he heard the
is.
bank. He heard the bank
Yeah,
being robbed.
because he's like opening himself back up to that possibility. He's like slowly expanding the
I
like
don't think
slippery
so.
slope. He's slippery sloping it into Daredevil. He
Yeah, but
totally
he's like,
is.
"Oh, I'm in the middle of the day. I'm just gonna like start like radar sense looking for crime around." I think
Because
he
he's
just heard
slipping.
shouting. I don't
He's
think so.
slipping.
He's also has to be more aware to be able to navigate the way he does. He just automatically has to. If he's going to close himself off too much, he
Mhm.
literally goes going to be blind.
Well, yeah, I didn't say he like, kind of decided to live his life as a regular, you know, normal, average, I don't know what you
Yeah,
would
normal blind
consider
person.
a person without sight, but yeah, I think I don't know. Again, I was sort of like working it up in my mind like he's on a slippery slope back into stuff. He's like getting his stuff back. He's getting his ability to fight. He's shaking off the rust and dust and he's slipping back into Daredevil mode. So yeah, he caught the bank conversation. Because we haven't had a lot of like extracurricular or extraneous like random street alley like oh my god I'm being dragged into an alley and robbed and you know what I mean we haven't had any of that so I don't know what his day to day is. I
Yeah,
don't know what
I
his
feel like it's a
range
missed
is. I don't know.
opportunity for them
i've never
to.
s- I've never seen him like deliberately be like no turn away I see this and I'm not doing anything. It's just sort of been like him saying I'm not Daredevil.
Mhm. Any thoughts, Mike?
Now, I don't know. I don't. I don't want to go off on a tangent on whether or not vigilantism is okay or not. And 'cause I think that's
Well,
a moot point, right, for us to enjoy the show, anyways. But like, does he have the responsibility? I don't know. I don't think so. Any more than anyone. Like, there's a lot of people that just walk past crime and accidents that happen regardless. And if you want to do the
right.
great power, great responsibility thing, sure.
Hmm.
But I don't think that's why he does this in the first place, to be perfectly
Hmm.
honest. That's just what he tells himself,
Hmm.
right? He does this because he likes to beat people up.
Which Frank Castle very you know clearly points out. He's like, "You're looking for
Mhm.
permission to go back to this life, man. You like it."
Mhm.
So, I mean, the show has a lot of questions about being a vigilante. It doesn't. I mean, it wrestles with, is vigilantism okay, and is it, I don't know, something you should or shouldn't do? But
See, there's
it's
also a
just not
line.
it's just not applicable in the real world because there's so many superheroes in this world and so many
Well,
people like ready to be vigilantes. It's not like
it's
your everyday experience.
it's the line that the difficult part of being a vigilante is like who's deciding, right? When you open it up to a single individual, you are giving them the power to decide what is not just right and wrong, but to what degree right and wrong is, right? Now
Right.
with Daredevil,
Yep.
he never kills anyone despite slamming their heads into concrete bricks and things of that nature, right? Things that would normally immobilize or paralyze people. He supposedly never kills anyone. And
Mhm,
so if all he's doing is immobilizing somebody and setting them up for the cops, how can anyone really be upset about that, right? Because you
mhm,
are effectively making a citizen's arrest, which is supposed to be something that we're allowed to do. We are simply detaining them, holding them down
mhm,
until the authorities get there. That's literally what he's doing. There should
mhm,
be nothing illegal about that. Just because you put a costume on to do it doesn't make it wrong. Vigilantism becomes a problem when you start talking about capital punishment, right?
Punisher.
It, exactly. And you could
Which
even
public perception plays a lot of role in this here, like, what the
exactly.
public, like, accepts and condones separates a vigilante from a criminal because
Right.
we expect them like, yes, they technically have their own moral code, but it's a moral code that the public has to accept for them to be a vigilante.
Right. And the problem breaks down when it is no longer a social decision, it's an individual's decision, right? For the most part, it seems like discourse would be that if someone catches a child predator in the act and beats them to a bloody pulp to the point where they can't hurt any more kids, not a whole lot of people are going to be upset about that. We've seen it happen plenty where all the charges get dropped on a father who protects his daughter or something along those lines, right? In those kinds of cases. To your point, Andrew, where the social perception of the situation is that it is just, it's fine. Now vigilantism is okay. It's it's when you cross those boundaries. And I think that's why this kind of show works. And I think that's why you can keep having a show ask that question, right?
Mhm.
It's why Batman works. It's why Daredevil works. And
Mhm.
it's why Punisher challenges it just a little bit because he takes that to the step where it's like most people be like, that person didn't need to die. And he's like, no, no they did. Absolutely, 100%.
Mhm. Yeah, because I mean, I think the thing also with Punisher is like, you know, there isn't always a limit. Most people will say that, when you're going after the big bad, we're not as concerned about the big bad, but if you're killing like everybody who's ever like been connected with the big bad, like these are lines we're not willing to cross. We're not saying like we don't believe in punishment for people who do wrong and who knowingly allow wrong to continue or aid and abet, but like there's levels. There's always levels, and you can't assign the same punishment for all crimes. We don't have in our society. Our punishments for different crimes differ because we understand like context and degrees of severity. And Punisher's
Right.
like, death, that's your punishment.
Well, and
Like
then it
that's
gets
it.
real interesting when like Punisher will go into a prison and deal with them there, right? Now societally, we've said no, 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 no. Prison is the punishment, right? You stop the punishing because they're being punished. And he's like, "Nah, I'm going to go in there, right?" And Daredevil would absolutely have a problem with that. But what's interesting is that like people don't bat an eye when a rapist goes into a prison and gets raped, right? It's like, listen, I've never been to prison. I don't know if it's real, but at least from what movies tell me, you're like the first one on the block, right? You're the first one to get turned into
Yeah.
that's what
Well,
Hollywood has
they
told
have
me
their
happens,
own, yeah, they have their own hierarchy of crime and punishment.
right?
It,
But does that
again,
respect,
the way it's presented in entertainment.
Right.
I
Yeah.
I do not have lived experience with people who've been in jail or been imprisoned, but cinematically, yes, that is.
Isn't Orange is the New Black a documentary? I thought that was okay.
Chris was so into that for a while, and I couldn't quite get there.
did
Yeah,
he
me
like that
neither.
70s show?
He did, and I did.
Yeah, there you go.
I
Donnie's hot.
loved that '70s show.
I did
Yes,
too.
I mean, yes. But yeah, I still couldn't get into Orange is the New Black. But anyway, digress.
Okay. All right. Well, I just thought see if you guys had anything to say about that. I just
Well,
I might
There's yeah, there's definitely a different take on vigilante. I mean, we've had several characters go up against this. Obviously, like I said, Frank Castle's the most direct about it because that's Frank Castle. But we had White Tiger espouse like why he believed what he was doing was right. And now we have Matt's girlfriend from a psychology perspective, coming in and being like, I'm writing a book about vigilantes. Of course you are. Of course you are.
yeah.
And, let me tell you about, what I think about vigilantes. And we as an audience are like,
Put on
um,
a hood, you're a coward. I like that
yeah,
line.
I
I
know.
wasn't sure if she believed it.
I
yeah,
don't
I thought it was
know.
maybe just to hurt, just to get at him. That's what I was
Yeah.
thinking too. She can at
It's
least say
starting,
that
yeah,
if that's that's the case, not the case.
it's starting to feel like I've really always hated their relationship and now I really hate it.
Mm,
When she was like,
okay.
introduce me to Punisher, introduce me, and I was like, ugh, get out of here with
Ah.
your exploitation. I don't know.
Okay.
I just never
Can't
really
have
liked their
Karen back soon
relationship.
enough, huh?
Yeah, I can't. Like, their
Okay.
relationship is more genuine, even though, like, sometimes I care if they're romantically involved and sometimes I don't. I just don't like her. I just don't. I don't like Heather.
The one line bothered me was she's like, they were having their little conversation and she was saying like, I'm sorry, I don't want to do it. But then she has to break into her like psychological breakdown of him. It's like, I don't want to
Yeah.
do it, but I have to, I have to psych you right now and
Oh
give
god.
you a read.
Right?
Um, because you said you wanted to say something more about that conversation. Is that what you want to say? Or,
Yeah, it's I don't know. Their relationship is feeling stretched thin for me between, like asking him to be like, "Hey, can I get material for my book? Hey, I'm going to like psychologically break you down and like sort of talk to you about how I feel you're acting right now instead of just like asking him, you
hmm,
know? Like he did go through something at the bank. We know as an audience like it wasn't traumatic for him, but she doesn't know that. Instead, she's
right.
just like, "I'm going to psychoanalyze you without, as your girlfriend trying to like set that aside and just ask you how you feel."
Is it
Hmm,
possible that she knows that he is Daredevil and she has been playing an angle the whole
Which
time?
which sure, but then I just want that to be over and done with because I'd love her storyline to be over and done with.
I would start finding it
Because I didn't find her like terror or, actions during Muse very compelling. I found him dangerous and scary and like freaky, and I thought his performance was more electric than hers, and hers was not matching where he was at.
I wanted to see him get to that point. I wanted to see him devolve a little bit, you know?
Yes.
I
I
agree.
was
I mean, he sold what he had the best that he could,
mhm.
and
And it's
I've always found him like creepy,
mhm. Yeah.
There was
so
something
it
less creepy
worked.
about him being so young too. Um,
I know. Like what
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like he should have been bald with some scars or something, you know? Like
No,
feel like he really lived. He's got some tattoos or I don't know. It's like the art element of it.
he could have been different. I agree, but
It looked like
I've
a
always
different
found
person in the suit too, because he looks like he's a little more
bulkier.
stacked. And
Yeah, I
then
think
he's
it's the
like,
hair. I think it's like the curly
maybe
hair.
it could be
He
all it
looks
is.
like messy teenager rolled out of bed. Um.
mm,
So yeah. So I feel like that actor. I know I've seen him before, and I cannot remember where. Um. But yeah, he was good. But yes, he could have looked older for sure. Where have I seen
Yeah.
him before? He's been creepy somewhere else too.
And some other fight experience because of his like was strictly taekwondo competition that he hated. I don't know.
that's the thing. That's the thing. That's not the actual character. The actual character is so much more than that. And to your point, right? When the detective is talking to Fisk, and she's like, "Yeah, his dad hired one of the best Taekwondo instructors in the world, and 3 months later he showed up dead, or 6 months later he ended up dead." It's like, how did he die
Right.
because the kid just learned Taekwondo so unbelievably fast? Yes, that's him. Um,
That's it. Sorry.
and
Thank you, Alan. He's the villain in Wednesday.
yes, like, did
Mm,
he learn
That
it so much so quickly that he
sorry.
bested a grandmaster instructor, one of the most best known in the world? Or, like, did he poison him with his cereal?
right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Come on, give us
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree. Okay.
And
Well, I mean, what's that?
makes it makes him be so much more of a threat if he bested him, right? That puts him
Mhm.
on Daredevil level, right? Whereas if he's just a kid who, got mad at his instructor and hit him over the head with a, bat,
Tantrum.
Yeah.
right? Like that,
Mhm.
no.
Yep. Andrea, who is a terrible actress?
Heather.
Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Harsh.
She was not selling the terror.
What
Okay.
if that's because she's
Okay.
not scared?
I mean, maybe again, like that. I guess that would be interesting if they are playing the long game with her. If she's if she's the person that's the long game. Um,
And
but
who's
yeah,
She's
this
in a pretty
patronizing
effed up
punk?
situation.
Fisk's right hand when he's talking to BB at the end,
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm enjoying
and
your notes here.
he's suddenly like, "You have a choice, little girl," and I'm like, "Oh, you were bumbling like 2 seconds ago. Like, was he
he's
not?
he's he's
Yeah.
learning what he his can do now. Coming into his own, Andrea.
No, no.
This is because we had a episode 5 that was a break from the show. We missed all this
Sure,
character development. Look
There
at all
you
the
sure.
stuff
go.
we could have talked about.
Well,
Mhm.
we have an extra episode. We couldn't have just made character development after.
Yeah. I love it how Fisk is talking about he's so mad about Daredevil, and he's like, "He tracked down my workers, you know, without
Mhm.
due process." And it's like, well, that it did, but workers is a, funny way
Yeah.
to put it, I guess, you
They
know?
they were blue collar
Um,
Yes.
people, John.
Yeah.
yeah, they were, I know.
He
And I was like,
continually
anyone
does
that's
that throughout the season. He just like forgets. He's like, "Oh, no one knows better than me that the law can make mistakes." It's like the law can make any mistakes. Like, what are
Mm.
you talking about?
see. Okay. Um,
I feel like we should. I mean, we should at least touch on, being that we're talking about Fisk. We should touch on Vanessa
yes.
briefly.
Did we
Speaking
think she
of
was
women who are, maybe in on something and plotting against their boyfriends slash husbands.
right? Hmm. Did we think she was turning him in?
Briefly, I considered it because I think she does miss her power. You
Her
know,
She's certainly
conversation
playing it
with her
that way.
former lackey seems to suggest so.
yeah. I feel like she misses the clarity because there's clearly some confusion right now. Like Luca, was half dealing with her, half dealing with Fisk. And I think she misses the clarity of like, I am the boss. Wilson is gone. It is me.
Right.
And clearly like people aren't sure what to do. Like, do we, I mean, I know he's the mayor and he's doing his thing, but he's still like involved. Is he not involved?
Right.
Like, should we go to him? And then he
Act
does
like an
like,
audience member, same deal. Like, is
right.
he
And
on the up and
he
up
does,
now? Or?
I mean, he's like, get out of here, Luca, but also I'm going to set you a tariff here, or like a tax or whatever he calls it. Um, adding on to your
Yeah.
payment.
Yep.
So yeah, so
Late
he's like,
fee.
I'm out of it, but just kidding, like pay me money, and then I'm out of it again. So I do
Yeah.
think she misses the like control.
I think she does too, but I also think she has been made aware of how successful she was, right? Because if it's breaking down now without her, so she comes in, the kid even
Right.
says, Luca even says, it was more profitable than ever with you. People ask less
Hmm.
questions. We just did what we were told, right? She hears
Right.
that, and that's going to boost your ego. That's going to
Right.
change your perspective, even, right? Whereas at one point, she might have been happy, but now she's like, all right, well, Fisk is off doing his thing again. And where is she left now, right?
Right.
She's
Right.
not part of his team anymore. Once
Hmm.
again, she's just off to the side. And now
Hmm.
here is this person saying, you did this really great. And so maybe she's like, well, you know what? We'll we'll get back into it. Like I liked it. I was good at it. It gave me
Hmm.
purpose. This fat ass comes back, takes that all away again, and I'm left with nothing.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep.
Well, and maybe it's a see what happens. We'll
Yeah.
test the waters, but I can easily
Mhm.
deny shit if, it goes the way it went, which was not well for Luca, which,
Yep.
who is this guy, this Buck dude who is, Fisk's right hand man?
Yeah.
He's just
I don't
out of
know.
nowhere, excellent marksman, just
A guy
crazy
that
sharpshooter.
used. I mean, he said he picked him for a reason. You know,
I know. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
a little
I
interesting.
I loved
whatever.
Kingpin's solving of the atom problem. I love that. I like that. It's like, what do I do? I can't let you go. Really, like that's a problem. If I just kill you, God, Vanessa would be upset. Let's give you a fighting chance. Take an axe. I liked that a lot. Thought
I
that
did
was
too.
a clever way to do it.
Even though I was like screaming at Adam, I was like, why are you fighting? Just use the axe to bust out. Like, try. At least try. You're not
Just
winning
run
against
and
Kingpin. Yes! Take the axe. Bust
not
the
a bad
door.
idea. Yeah.
Once again, like, try. Just try.
Mhm.
He's been
Yeah.
malnourished and dehydrated. He isn't thinking straight.
I guess. But like, man, going up in a fight against Kingpin, even bare knuckles,
Mhm.
like, ugh,
Yeah.
fool. You fool.
Does anybody know how like strong Kingpin is in this world? Like, we do see him bench pressing, but he does
Mhm.
not have that look to him. So, like, does Adam,
Mm,
right? Does Adam know that this man can like basically
sure.
overhead press a car?
Sure.
I doubt it. I doubt
Yeah.
it. That's got to be not common knowledge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Vincent D'Onofrio is in that like weird space where you just can't quite tell. Whereas like Michael Clark Duncan, when he finally like strips down and he's got like the build and you're like, geez, like muscle, you know. D'Onofrio doesn't have
Well,
that, but he's still like very physically imposing. So it's like hard to tell. It's like camouflaged.
He is, I mean, the way they portray him in this to me, there's no way he doesn't have super strength. Like he just does. Because he doesn't
Hmm.
have the physique to do the incredible feats that we've seen him do in like
Right.
what he was benching in prison in season 2 or whatever.
Right.
So
Andre the Giant was not, you know, cut. He was not ripped by any means. He
yeah,
looked like a normal dude, except he was like, 11 feet
right.
tall or whatever it actually was, right?
Hmm.
7 feet tall. And just a massive man whose hands, right, dwarfed cans. So,
Yeah.
like, I could see that if that's what we're trying to say Kingpin is,
Right.
but he's so often portrayed as fat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I just feel like Vincent D'Onofrio's in that weird space between.
'Cause I don't think he's that tall. Like they shoot him low angle so he looks
Yeah.
taller and some of that, I try to,
Mhm.
but I don't think he's that tall. So,
He's just like large framed.
mhm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
because
he's
he's a
just,
lot thinner now. But
yeah.
hmm. Okay. Well, 2 episodes left.
Mhm.
Where
Nice,
does it
Alan.
go in 2 episodes? Oh, yeah, Alan Sharon. Get your big butt back in the house. From Men in
Sugar
Black. That's
water.
what yeah, that's what I know him from. There's some sugar,
Right.
water. But,
Oh
yeah,
my
2 episodes
god.
left. We'll see where
Such a
that goes.
throwback. Dead.
Do you think we're gonna get like some sort of resolution? Is there anything to resolve? I feel like the Muse thing would have been the thing to resolve. Or are we just like, no, kind of cliffhanger into season 2?
Well, I mean, one of the resolved things is obviously like, Fisk now knows very clearly that Matt is going out as Daredevil and he's done it multiple times. He can't just
How
be
do you
like,
fix that?
it was right, it was like a slip, my client's
Right.
niece, I had to save her. Oh, my girlfriend, I had to save her. It's like, like you can't just, pretend you aren't doing this. Um, so yeah, so the what is Kingpin going to do about it?
He has his task
And
force, his body
well,
camless task force.
and is Matt gonna like finally commit to it? Is he gonna say like, yeah, like
Right. I'm thinking I'm back.
yeah, or am I not? Am I not?
Yeah.
Well,
And obviously, if this is getting out, the season is got to end with Karen coming back somehow
Okay.
because she hears Daredevil's back.
It's a good prediction.
they kind of set it up where it would make sense to have another face off between Fisk and Daredevil behind closed doors. Right.
Hmm.
This time it would have to be behind closed doors. And both of them have to kind of go limping home, right? In almost like a mutual agreement of we're both about to die here. And then maybe Karen is there to pick up the pieces and nurse Matt back to health, and
Hmm.
Vanessa nurses Kingpin back to health. Who knows? But you set up that they're both back into fighting form, right?
Hmm.
You got 2 episodes. Like you said, there's
Hmm.
no more villains unless they're going to introduce somebody in 8,
Hmm.
which it sounds like based off of what you said about the original concept for the show, maybe they will introduce another villain, another throwaway. I would
Awesome.
hate that. I will hate that.
Yeah, if they do introduce somebody, I do not want it to be a throwaway.
Mm.
Like it's either somebody that's already here that's like a surprise, something, or it's we're setting up for the next season, but really like Kingpin and Daredevil are going at it. Because I mean, to be quite honest, for these past couple episodes, they've done a lot of things, but nothing in each other's sphere. They've not
Right.
interacted at all. So we're probably due for something between them.
I would like another conversation, like threats back and forth.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, I can see. I'm going to predict. I like that the Karen's comes back at the end, and then we have Matt getting in the way of Kingpin's task force, and like
Hmm.
he, he can't keep hiding from the public the idea that his task force is stopping the crime and bringing
Hmm.
people to justice versus
Right.
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
And
Yeah.
so that's the real conflict there. And we keep getting like Matt gets in sticky situations like because he has to keep beating up cops and
Mhm.
more of
Hmm.
that. So that's
Yeah.
that's my guess. And then we kind of have cliffhanger, you know.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, we shall see, find out. We have to wait a couple weeks for well, we got a new one tonight, and then the finale next week. We'll be talking on Ohio Anime, probably about something. We were going to do Sakamoto Days, but maybe we throw in the Batman. No, the Ghost in the Darkness before that.
Yep.
I will certainly be planning to rewatch that when I can here shortly. So been years, and I love it. So stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all those sorts of things. Popcast on the Rocks, Ohio Anime, if you're interested in that on YouTube. Mike, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you?
You can find me at track_mouse on YouTube. Um, trackmouse34 on Instagram. Might have those reversed. Look up trackmouse.
Yeah. Hmm.
You'll get a lot of results about computer devices, but if you find a car one, it's me.
Yeah, I just saw you post a thing, a little guessing game for people. Guess how much
Yeah.
your car weighs.
Yep.
So mhm,
Yep.
get
Playing
that
a
out there.
little playing a little experiment on engagement. Yeah, it worked out okay.
Okay, nice. I had no idea, so I did not guess. um, I'm going to promote in a little over a little over a week. Got my boxing coach's actual fight coming up in Florida on the
Hmm.
18th. Island fights. It'll be on UFC Fight Pass. So I'll mention that again. But
Pretty
yeah,
cool.
keep an eye out for that. Vinny Navarro. So
Very
that's who
cool.
you want to vote for, root for.
How's he feeling
Um,
going into it? Is he feeling pretty confident?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, he's not having his normal sort of uh training camp he would he would have before. So I'd say that probably be the one thing that's like different. But just with his competitor, and I would like to say I've watched a fight of who he's fighting before, and I think he's got him beat. So um, we shall see. We shall see. It's gonna be exciting. Um, yeah, I've never known someone well that's been in a professional fight. I know I've like met people, a little vaguely, but someone I actually like care about. So it's going to be interesting to watch what's real bout with someone I care about. So yeah. Um. Anyways, that's coming up. Otherwise, make sure you like, share, subscribe in all the applicable places, and keep an eye on us for what's next. Andrea, Mike, thank you for both for joining me, and we'll see you already next time.
Thank
Of
you.
course. Cheers, everybody.
This is the second can.